If we haven't met before, I'm Sarah, an end-of-life planning advocate, normalizing conversations about end-of-life and estate planning before those conversations are necessary. Many people have an endless list of reasons, otherwise known as excuses, for avoiding estate planning. I don't care what happens, I'll be dead. That's just for rich people. I'm young, I won't need that for decades. The list of reasons for not having conversations about their estate plan with their people is equally long. It might be awkward. Talking about death would make me or them uncomfortable. Another excuse that could be added to either one of those lists: everybody already knows what I want. They might say this as an excuse for not doing any estate planning, or as an excuse that will mean they won't have to have the awkward conversation about their wishes. But either way, this excuse is just that, an excuse. And really, does everyone really know what you want? Even if you think your people know what you want, here are 4 questions to ask yourself. 4 reasons you should still create an estate plan and talk about it with anyone who will be impacted by it after your death. The first question to ask yourself, if you think everyone already knows what I want after I die, do they all understand what you want in the same way? Misunderstandings and estate distributions that aren't in line with what was expected can cause major hurt feelings, or even worse, long-standing family disputes or even litigation. Estate planning can often use terms like equally, reasonably, and fairly. Living wills or advanced care directives often use terms like likely. I guarantee that everyone involved in those situations where those terms will need to be applied will define those terms differently. Maybe you want your stuff divided equally amongst your kids. Bank accounts are easy enough to divide up, but what about the other stuff? For example, how should sentimental items be distributed? If everyone thinks they'll get whatever beloved heirlooms they want, it can create significant rifts in the family when everyone wants the rocking chair that Grandpa made with his own 2 hands. When left to define it and figure it out for themselves, everyone involved in those situations and those conversations will have a different definition of what you wanted to have happen. So reason number 1 to still make an estate plan, even if you think everyone already knows what you want, to make sure that everyone understands your wishes in the same way. The second question to ask yourself, if you think everyone already knows what I want, will what you want and what your people think you want actually be what happens after you die? If you don't do any estate planning and die without a will, intestate is the fancy legal term for dying without a will, it doesn't matter what you wanted to have happen. State law will determine who gets your stuff, and while state laws vary, there's always some version of your stuff going to your spouse if you're married, or your nearest blood relative if you aren't. Some things will require an estate plan and estate planning paperwork to happen. If you want your best friend Alex to get your house, and if everyone knows you want Alex to get your house, but then you die without a will, your friend Alex won't get anything from your estate regardless of what you wanted. State law will kick in, and who gets your stuff, including your house, will be determined by state law, not your wishes. If you die intestate or without a will, your state's rules on distribution of your estate are the only thing that will matter, and friends and unmarried partners will not be part of that distribution. Everyone knowing what you want won't matter either if you die without a will. State law will take over, and your wishes and other people's expectations won't matter either. So reason number 2 to still make an estate plan, even if you think everyone knows what you want, to ensure that what you want to have happen to you and your stuff after you die will actually happen. The third question to ask yourself, if you think everyone already knows what you want after I die, is Is what everyone knows you want current? Estate plans should be reviewed and updated as your life changes. Even if everyone knew how you wanted things to happen when you were a basically broke 20-something, is that still accurate now that you're older and have a lot more stuff? Or now that your relationships with the people in your life have evolved, for better or for worse, for the last decade? It's possible that different people in your life might have very different understandings about what you'd want to have happen. So reason number 3 to still make an estate plan, even if you think everyone knows what you want, to ensure that what everyone knows you want is current. The final question to ask yourself, if you think everyone already knows what I want after I die, will your people have the information they need to make all of it happen? Even if you do the paperwork and even if everyone knows what you want, in the digital age, your people will need a certain amount of information to make those things happen with the least amount of stress possible. Will they be able to locate your stuff or be able to access your stuff, especially your online stuff? For example, will they be able to locate and access accounts like email or your online banking records? Documenting the location of important documents and access information like passwords as part of your estate planning process can be a very good idea to assist your people in managing your affairs after you die. Even with all of this information, wrapping up the affairs of someone else after their death will always be tedious and annoying. I'm sorry, I don't know anything that can make that go away entirely. But it is that much easier when there isn't the added struggle of having to figure out what you have or where to find it or how to access it. So reason number 4 to still make an estate plan, even if you think everyone knows what you want, to ensure that your people will have the information they need to follow your wishes with the least amount of stress possible. Even if you think your people already know what you want, I can pretty much guarantee that someone doesn't know, or they don't understand it in the same way. So just go ahead and document what you want in your will or your living will or advanced care directive or another estate planning document, and discuss it with the people who will be impacted by it. The upside? If you think your people already know what you want, then you likely already know what you want, which can make documenting and discussing your plan a little bit easier since you aren't starting from scratch. So there's that. If you found this video helpful, hit that like button and also consider hitting the subscribe button for regular end-of-life and estate planning information.